was fortunate enough to interview an incredibly inspiring woman named Joanne Mcarthur of We Animals. Joanne is an award-winning photographer who has documented the plight of animals in over 40 countries for over a decade. She is amazing, and her list of awards and accolades are just endless. She and I talked about sheepyard sales in Australia.
A sheep sale yard is a place where sheep go to be bought and sold. These are properties with huge pens. And the one that I visited in Ballarat, Australia, where I've done the most photography of the sheep sale yards, is a place where they can hold up to 32,000 sheep, if you can imagine. And that's in 32,000 sheep in one day. And so a lot of trucks are coming and going. It's very loud. The clanking of metal and gates opening and closing while they shuffle sheep from one pen to the next is loud, and it's also very loud because the humans are bartering and bargaining for sheep. It's like an auction, basically. Prior to the arrival at the sheep sale yards, the sheep have been at farms. They've been out at pasture or in barns, but then they are put on transport trucks. And you don't quite know how long they've traveled. Sometimes it's, an hour, and sometimes it's much, much, much longer. And the trucks are really, really crammed. Some of them even have 3 floors to them, and hundreds of sheep are crammed onto those trucks. And then they're brought to the auction yards where they spend the day, and then they're put on trucks again to go to their destination, whether that destination is a slaughterhouse or another farm, or to the ships where they are sent overseas. When you arrive at the sale yards, you're struck by a few things. Obviously, the sight is something to behold because you see thousands of sheep crammed together in these pens, and they're looking around, they're searching for an answer that's very clear on their faces. They don't know what's happening next. And so they're making eye contact with you and all the humans. They're looking around frantically. And when animals are nervous, they defecate. And so there's poop and there's urine everywhere, which creates quite a smell and quite a mess as well. What that also creates on the cobblestone, so the sale yard that I visited was cement and cobblestone. It makes everything very slippery. And so when these animals are shuffled or herded from one pen to the next, they run and they slip, and as a result there are broken limbs, broken necks, and dead bodies lying around. And for the most part in this world, we still see animals as objects for our use, and so certainly the farmers and the sale people at the sheep yards see these animals as stupid animals. Sheep are often known as, to be stupid, which is completely incorrect, and that's why they are objectified. When the sheep are sold, they are loaded onto trucks again, and they are either sent to another farm, possibly they're young sheep, and they're going off to another farm to be fattened. They might be going to the slaughterhouse. They might be put on a ship where they are sent overseas and then used as food, wool, etc., etc. So actually Australia has a real problem with live export. That happens a lot there. Millions of animals are shipped overseas, and so they spend weeks on crammed, dirty ships. It's unbelievable. So whether they're going, again to a farm or to a slaughterhouse, they all end up at the slaughterhouse. They don't get to choose their friends and their family, and then their lives are ended basically when a farmer decides. So not a nice life for sheep. And we haven't talked about the shearing either. The act of shearing is a very, very violent act, and they need to do it quickly because there's so many sheep. And so shearing has become a sport in some cases. Like they have sheep shearing contests, who can do it the fastest. And as a result, the animals are nicked, even in very delicate places, these animals walk away with wounds and cuts, and the way they're shorn as well. I mean, they're flipped upside down, they're held down by the knees of the shearers and the hands, and it's quite a brutal act. And they have to go through this every year for wool.